Today I'm gonna say George 10,000 times in under 19 minutes to prove my last video that I can do better. 3, 2, 1, go. George, 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 George. George, George, George. Yes, 100. Now 10 more times. Or 100 more times. Okay, here we go. George, 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 George. This is gonna be a piece of cake, George. George, 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 George. George, 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 and George. 1,000. 10 more times and we're done. We are currently 8 minutes in, so let's go faster. George, 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 George. George, 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 George. Let's go 3,000. I'm listening to some music and we're currently 23 minutes in, so let's go faster. This music is great, but we have to continue. Okay. George, 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 George. George, 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 let's go 4,000. Now I want you to guess what song I'm listening to based on how I sing or speak. George, 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 George. Come on, you know it, sir. George, 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 George. Put your guesses in the comments. I'll pin the correct one. George, Lay. I always miss it, but we're halfway. Let's go. George, 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 George. George, 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 and George. Yay. George, George, George. George, 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 George. Okay, I'm gonna stop. George, 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 George. I said George, 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 and George. Yes, we are almost 1 hour in. Just past the 1 hour mark and we're almost 8,000. Oops. George, 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 George. George, yay. Georgie, 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 Georgie pig. Georgie, 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 Georgie. George, 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 George. Let's go. 10,000. We did it in 1 hour and 18 minutes. In other words, 78 minutes, which beat our last record. Thank you for watching me saying George 10,000 times, and please subscribe or else you will have to say Peppa 1 million times. Goodbye, oversleepers.